It is clear that a society is corrupt if the politicians have never gone to prison, if the politicians have no prison to go to. Just like gone on YouTube, figure you bring some new food. Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today's video is titled Jamaican Politician Exempt from Prison. It is as much a statement as it is a question, or should I say, it is as much a question as much as it's a statement. It is a statement because in my lifetime, almost 50, I'm a middle-aged man. In all of my almost 50 years, I've never heard any Jamaican politician go into prison. And it is a question because just in case that while I was under my rock, meaning out of touch with what's going on in Jamaica, maybe a Jamaican politician was convicted and sent to prison. If that is the case, please say so in the commentary below, even though I'm not quite holding my breath for that. The reason why I decided to cover this subject is because recently I've had some insider's information on the prison system of Jamaica, or should I say the Correctional Services of Jamaica. That's right, the Correctional Services of Jamaica, the Correctional Department of Jamaica. And I was surprised, but then again, I wasn't surprised. I mean, what I heard was the deplorable conditions of the prisons in Jamaica. I tried to find some online to see what was going on image-wise, but I knew that I wasn't going to see anything. If that is actually the reality of Jamaican prison, I do not expect any of that to be exposed. In Jamaica, I've realized that they've got a number of prisons, but there were only 4 or 5 that were considered the main prisons, if I'm remembering right. It's the Tower Street Prison, Fort Augustus Prison, Spanish Town Prison, and Tambourine Farm and Richmond Prison. To my understanding, the prison in Kingston, which is the Tower Street Prison, I believe, and the one in Spanish Town, to my understanding, I do not know this to be factual, but to my understanding, through my insider, the conditions are deplorable, to the point where I understand prison are not supposed to be a place of comfort to a degree, but I'll get into that in a minute. I understand that you're being imprisoned, but there is certain human respect that I think should still be in place when it comes to inmates. And the number one thing that I believe should be in place when it comes to inmate is how one relieves themselves. And to my understanding, some 30 plus years later, people in prison are still using the toilet in a bucket. And I was appalled by that, because when I was a child in Jamaica, I used to hear the adults talk, and I used to hear that there is no toilet facilities, no decent toilet facilities in the prisons, and because of this, people have to put their bodily waste in buckets, and someone has to volunteer, or someone is chosen to dispose of the bodily waste. And if that is still going on in 2020, it is a shame and disgrace on the Jamaican government. No wonder no politician has gone to prison. Nelson Mandela said, "It has been said that no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside of its jails." And that could not be any truer statement. So pretty much I'm saying, if the jails are deplorable, it means that the government is deplorable. It means the entire country is deplorable. I believe in that quote for the simple fact that if you're going to have a system, a society, a civilized society, so to speak, there are a few things that you have to get in order when constructing a civilized society. And the first thing you want to get in order is law. So you want to have do's and don'ts in a society. And at the same time, if you're going to have do's and don'ts as a society, you need law enforcement officers. So you need police officers, you need soldiers to defend your community, your country, your land borders, etc. However, if you're going to have law defenders, you're going to have prisons. But prisons are, especially in Jamaica, well, worldwide, prisons are known to be correctional department. The key word here is correctional. So prison is not so much intended to be a punishment as it is, supposed to be a punishment. Prison is really to correct an individual. Correctional services is supposed to try to make the wrong right. We're trying to right your wrongs. And the main punishment of someone being in prison is really losing their freedom to roam, their freedom to enjoy what we would call livelihood. But any more punishment other than one losing his or her freedom could be seen as a crime against humanity. So in reality, if this is a fact that 2020 people in Jamaican prisons are still using buckets to empty their bodily waste, it is a shame, it is a disgrace. Here's what I'm saying: criminals are supposed to be punished. Criminals should not get a free pass. If you commit a crime, under the law of Jamaica, under the law of the country that you live in, you should be penalized. And if that includes going to prison, you should go to prison. If under the law it means you should go to prison and face time plus hard labor, then you should face time plus hard labor. But under no circumstances there should be any crime against humanity. As a society, the citizen as a group, they are the government. So even though many Jamaicans have cried in the past and says they shouldn't have better prisons for the simple fact that it's taxpayers' money, the taxpayers are the government. And these people in prison are actually serving time based upon the government, you, us, the citizens' will. So it is our duty to use our tax money to keep them in prison. But at the same time, we have to treat them humane. They need to have 3 hots and a cot. They need to be treated like human beings. Anyway, on to the politicians in Jamaica. This is corruption in its utmost transparency. And when I say that, I mean it is clear that a society is corrupt if the politicians have never gone to prison, if the politicians have no prison to go to. So, like say in the United States of America, pretty much no one, as it's written, no one is above the law. And even though there have been some recent exceptions, as we've seen televised, what the United States of America does have in its history is people of power going to prison, including politicians. So since Jamaica left to copycat America so much, it is also one of those things that Jamaica is supposed to be doing. Jamaica need to invest in a prison, and Jamaica need to demonstrate to the Jamaican people that no one is indeed above the law. There's so much corruption in Jamaica that I'm aware of and some I'm not aware of. But one thing I do know, no Jamaican politician or anyone of what Jamaica would call upper class, real upper class, men in power, has ever been to prison despite the suspicion of corruption, despite the suspicion of laws being broken. No judge, no superintendent police, no Jamaican politician has ever gone to prison. To an outsider, that could mean one of two things. One, Jamaican politicians must be very fair and square and honest and law-abiding, and for that reason, none of them has ever gone to prison. Two, Jamaica must be at the top of corruption if no politician or no man of power in the country has ever gone to prison. Why? Because we know worldwide politicians, they are not saints. As soon as these Jamaican politicians starts to go to prison, I'm sure they would invest in a decent prison. It shouldn't have to get to that point where Jamaican politicians are now going to prison. How would that work? Because Jamaica still works under the flag of the United Kingdom. And I recently learned that any real appeals still go to the United Kingdom. So that means the United Kingdom would have to invest more interest in the judicial system of Jamaica and push Jamaica to invest more in prisons. Speaking of that, I did hear that David Cameron a few years ago was suggesting to build a prison in Jamaica, and then that kind of just died out. I guess Jamaica refused it, or I'm not sure if Jamaica was even in the position to refuse it. If I'm not mistaken, David Cameron was willing to invest 25 million, I'm not sure if that was pounds or US dollars, in building a new prison in Jamaica. At the time when I heard it, I didn't give it much listening here, to be honest, but now that this information came to me, I thought that was something that is relevant in Jamaica. And if Jamaica wants to modernize itself, unfortunately or fortunately, a part of its modernization is building prison, because all societies offers temptation, and they're just evil in most men. I wouldn't say all of us, but they're evil in men, and crime will always be committed, and no one is exempt from committing a crime, including politicians. And for that sake, I think politicians in Jamaica should go to prison. Politicians in Jamaica should face the same law that runs Jamaica. There should not be a segregation of people in Jamaica that goes to prison and people in Jamaica that are exempt from prison. Because I don't know much about the prisons in Jamaica, but I've seen the one in Kingston and I've seen the one in Spanish Town. I was born and raised in Kingston, so I've seen Tower Street Prison from the outside. And from the outside, what it looked like to me, it looked like if that was a prison, when the British ruled Jamaica, those are the same building bricks that are still constructed of that prison. Meaning there have been no real renovation to modernize that prison. Same thing for the one in Spanish Town. It's made out of bricks. It's almost near the Spanish Town Old Town, and if you go to the Spanish Town Old Town, it's like you walked out of Jamaica and walked into old time Britain. That whole area just looked like old time England. So that prison in itself, in my opinion, has also not had any real renovation. I have never had the unfortunate or fortunate experience of being inside, but from photographs that I've seen, it is horrible. Recently, there was Ruel Reid, a former member of parliament that I believe was found guilty for stealing a whole lot of money. And that was pretty much it. If he was found guilty, I expect to hear that he will be going to prison at some point. But that kind of just died down. Ruel Reid, to be honest, is the first Jamaican member of parliament that I'm aware of that's ever been exposed for criminal offenses. So I guess on one side that is kind of an improvement, but the simple fact that no one has been convicted, no one has been sent to prison, that make things look a bit fishy. But anyway, people, let me know what y'all think about it. Are Jamaican politicians above the law? Are Jamaican politicians exempt of going to prison, of being an inmate, wearing a number? Or are Jamaican politicians just honest and law-abiding, and for that reason there's never been any necessary reason for any Jamaican member of parliament or politician to go to prison? Do you believe that Jamaica should invest in new prisons or reconstruct these prisons? And do you, well, I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, so I'm still gonna ask the question. Do you believe that correctional institutions should be for the mere purpose of correctional services. In other words, I mean, a criminal should be incarcerated, but should still be treated as a human being and should be respected when it comes to hygiene and excretion of bodily waste. Let me know what you think about that, or do you think they should be in prison and they should live like dogs? I'm giving a fair option here. Let me know what you think, people. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say today, people. As you know, on this channel, I appreciate thumbs up and thumbs down, agreement and disagreement, because at the end of the day, people, each one teach one. You've reached the end of my video, and that in itself is a support that I truly appreciate. And while I'm at it, I will take this time out to let you guys know other ways that you can support my channel. The first and simplest way that you can support my channel is by giving this video a thumbs up. And the second and most important way that you can support this channel is by hitting that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel and follow me through my YouTube journey. Other ways that you can support my channel is by going to my Teespring online store and buying some of my merch. And another way that you guys can also support this channel is by joining me in Patreon to give me a contribution to support what I do on YouTube and what I do to entertain you guys. Once again, I want to thank you guys for your continuous support and ask that you join me, Ian T. Sebastian, on YouTube and see where my journey takes me. Until next time, people, peace.